In the meantime, things are getting very hot in Florida just days after the Department of Justice forced the state to halt a purge of non-citizens from its voter rolls. Florida shot back immediately, declaring the purge perfectly legal and necessary to ensure the integrity of elections, that the program would continue. They even gave the DOJ a deadline to respond today. Did they? Let's ask the Florida governor himself, Rick Scott. Governor, good to have you. What has the department told you?
Well, Neil, the debate's over. Here's what we found. We have found individuals that are registered to vote, they don't have a right to vote, they're non-citizens, and they voted. I have a job to do to defend the right of legitimate voters, citizens of our state. We've been asking for the Department of Homeland Security's database, SAVE, for months, and they haven't given it to us. So this afternoon, we'll be filing a lawsuit. The Florida Secretary of State's office will be filing a lawsuit against the Department of Homeland Security to give us that database. We want to have fair, honest elections in our state, and so we've been put in the position that we have to sue the federal government to get this information.
All right, now, the DHS isn't the only one causing you headaches, right? 67 election supervisors in your state won't resume this purge. So what is that telling you? They're nervous, right?
Well, look, everybody wants to do their job, and we know individuals are voting. We did a small sample. We have 86 individuals that registered to vote that didn't have the right to vote. We know 46 of them did. We cannot afford to dilute the rights of our citizens to their vote. Homeland Security should be giving us this. I'd like to work with them to get this done right, and so because of that, we have no choice but to file this lawsuit today.
Okay, your critics, Governor, say since this purge list, you found not even a dozen who should not be voting in Florida. 500 others were found to be actual citizens. So that so far, you weren't getting, I don't know, enough bang for the bite here. What do you make of that?
Well, so, Neil, we just did a small sample. We already found 86 that registered to vote that were non-citizens. We have 46 that voted that we know. I don't want to dilute the vote of any one citizen in our state. The right way of doing this, we have a right to this database that Homeland Security has. It's supposed to be used for voter registration. I look forward to them giving us the database. But, again, we don't have a choice but to sue them this afternoon.
No, I can understand where you're coming from, but let's say you're found to be a citizen, you're still on that list, it's an older database, then you go to, let's say, Tallahassee or Palm Beach or Miami to vote. You're on that list. You're in a world of voting hurt, right? You can't vote.
No, there's a due process. The way it works is, first thing you do is the supervisor of election in the county sends out a letter. You have an opportunity, 30 days to respond. After that, they have to put it in the paper. After that, if you don't respond and you're not on the rolls, when you go vote, you'll have a provisional vote, and they'll figure it out afterwards. There's complete due process. And not one person has been eliminated from the voter rolls that has a right to vote. But we know that people that didn't have the right to vote have voted in our elections. That's not fair to the citizens of our state, and it's not the way we want elections. We want fair, honest elections.
I understand what you're saying, Governor. I guess what alarms me is that even in your state, it seems like a lot of Republicans don't have your back or haven't commented much on it. Marco Rubio comes to mind. I went and researched this, and if he has expressed his support for what you're doing, I stand corrected, but as far as I know, he is not. So what's going on there, even within your party?
Well, look, my job is to enforce the laws of Florida. I'm the governor of Florida. That's what I got elected to do. I expect every other elected official to do their job, and I believe they will. We've already done this small sample. I expect the federal government to do their job. I can't imagine anybody would want elections that aren't honest and fair. Anybody would want one vote diluted by individuals that don't have the right to vote.
Now, the ACLU and others predictively say that you're targeting minorities. They go so far as to say this violates the 1965 Voters' Rights Act, and that this is setting up bad political news for you and the party in the fall. That a state, in large part thanks to some of the improvement you've economically led, where the unemployment rate has been coming down, helping Republicans, now you're wrapping yourself around an issue that might not. How do you feel about that?
Well, you're right, Neil. We've had a great turn in our economy. Unemployment's dropped from 11.1 to 8.7%. We've had the fastest drop of any state but one. This Friday we'll find out how we've done. Hopefully we'll continue to go down. I know the federal numbers were worse last month. But look, I don't get to pick and choose what laws I want to enforce. I enforce all the laws of the land. This is not a partisan issue. This is not a Republican or Democrat or independent issue. This is an issue that we need to have fair elections in our state. I want to make sure that when we have elections, your vote, not one person's vote, gets diluted by somebody that doesn't have the right to vote.
Now, a Latino will come to the polls, and a number of Latino groups have said they're the ones who are going to be pulled aside. They're the ones who are going to be questioned more than others simply because they're Latino. What do you say to that?
Oh, absolutely not. First off, there's complete due process. If in the small sample that we've already done, where we know people have voted illegally, which is a crime, if you're on that list, you'll get a letter, and if you show that you're a citizen, there's no issue. If you don't respond, we have to do a newspaper ad, the supervisor's election does. If you don't respond and you go vote, you still get to vote at provisional ballot. So no one's going to be targeted. We want to make sure, look, I want to make sure everyone that has a right, registers to vote and votes. But we're doing the right thing. We have people that are voting illegally in our races. That's not right.
Okay, Governor, thank you very much. And fair and balanced, we did seek a comment from the Department of Justice, and at the given time when they said they would give us a comment, their comment was no comment. They did not release a statement, but we tried.